Today's recipe is inspired by a dish served in Mexicali's and Tijuana's Bodega Ocho restaurant. And it starts out with a few pounds of beef small intestines, otherwise known as tripas. We clean them out and then boil them in a pot with spices. Then we're gonna cut them into taco-sized pieces. Once we are done, then we coat them with some cornstarch in a bowl and make sure they are thoroughly covered. Once the prep work is finished, it's time to go outside and introduce you to the Al Lunacy MXK, the Mexican kettle. We'll be using it to fry our tripas in a cast iron pan with oil. Once we have a golden brown color, it's time to take them out and season them with some fajita seasoning. And here's a little taste test before we put them on a taco. Insanely delicious. We're taking you to Crunchville, folks, and we're doing it all here on Al Lunacy Queuing. Welcome back, my good people. Al Lunacy here for Al Lunacy Queuing. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Today is the debut video of a grill that we've been working on for quite some time. Now it's not completely finished. We're still working on the lid, but what we have is the bottom base, and that's what we're working with today. We've got a tripa video that we want to show you, a little bit different from the traditional way of making it. But without further ado, let's start our prep and let's get it going. It's the debut of the MXK, Mexican kettle. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's get to it. Okay, so right off the bat, we are starting with 3.45 pounds of tripas that we bought at our local HEB for $1.78 a pound. I remember maybe like 10 years ago, these used to sell for 50 cents a pound, and you could buy a 30-pound frozen box of these for like 15 bucks. But like everything else, prices and times change. There's several ways to cook these. Along the way, I'll point out the traditional methods and some of the untraditional methods that we will follow. Now, the first thing you should do, regardless of which method you are using, is to clean out your tripas. And no, I'm not saying for you to take a laxative. I'm talking about running water through these several times so that you clean out all the remnants inside the intestines. So you can do this in a sink like I'm doing here, and make sure you do each tripa 2 to 3 times each. Preparing our boiling water, I'm using Fiesta brand's garlic pepper, which contains salt, pepper, garlic, and then I'm adding some onion powder. Traditionally, people will add at least half of a cut onion, salt, and garlic cloves to the boiling water, but I feel tripas more easily absorb the powder flavors instead of the whole ones, so that's why I use them. Once everything is mixed, we'll add our tripas. After about 15 minutes on a medium boil, use a spoon to remove some of the gut that they release. You may need to do this 2 to 3 times during a 35 to 45 minute boil. You will see that a lot of the fat around the tripa will render, and those 3+ pounds we started with will shrink quite a bit, and that's just the start of it. And now we place them in a paper napkin bowl to dry them out as best as we can, using another napkin on top to squeeze out the water. Now here's the key to getting crispy tripas. You pre-cut them into taco-sized pieces. Traditionally, people will fry them whole once they are boiled, but if you pre-cut them, each piece will have a crispy edge once they are done. Now to get them even more crispy, you can coat them with a little bit of cornstarch like the way they are served at the fine dining restaurant Bodega Ocho. Although it's not traditional here in South Texas, these last 2 steps will really make your tripas stand out. Once we're done, we'll put them in the fridge to dry out, then we'll go start our fire outside. Introducing the Al Lunacy MXK with 3-inch bright orange lockable caster wheels with an Azteca pyramid-shaped shelf on the bottom to store your wood or charcoal. The base is 9 inches in height and 20 inches in diameter and has spring handles on each side that remain cool to the touch. The cast iron grill has a removable center so you can reload that vortex cone if needed, or even use it with a wok to make a killer stir fry. Today, however, we are attempting to use the vortex to cook our tripas over it, so let's get our charcoal chimney started. Looking through the side door vent of our prototype grill, you will see that we have about 1.5 inch to 2 inch clearance between the vortex and the grill grate. I mentioned this because an issue will arise in our cook in just a few. Once we have our charcoal loaded into the vortex, we use our coal pipe stick that comes with the grill to situate our fire. Putting back the center grill without a glove, ouch, not a smart move, but here we go. We place our iron cast pan right in the center, and then we'll pour some vegetable oil into the pan about 1/4 of the way full. Turned over the first one. Let me turn over the second one. Let them get more color as they go, but we'll keep flipping them around. The vortex worked great for the first batch of tripas, but began to die out afterwards because the fire wasn't able to breathe underneath. I decided to ditch the vortex for now until we install a bottom charcoal grate about an inch in height so that the vortex can breathe later. We added some other proteins to the grill once we got the fire going again. Then we continued working on the second batch of tripas, turning them around every 5 minutes or so that they would brown on both sides. Once they have a good color on both sides, take them out and let them drain on a napkin, then season them with fajita seasoning while they're still hot. Now let's give these a try. Incredibly tasty and crunchy. Now here's a pro tip. To get your tripas to be even more tasty and to have a better golden color, pour a few drops of W sauce or soy sauce in the last minutes of your cook. It's up to your taste preference which one to use since they both will add color, but remember that if you use soy sauce, it has more sodium, so you won't have to season them as much if you choose to use it. So these are pretty much done. Let me show you the color that they get with the W sauce. See that color? It's a nice. And while they're still hot, hit them up with this fajita seasoning and you'll be good. Now look at the difference between the first ones without W sauce and the second ones with W sauce. Quite a difference in color and taste. Quick little recap. Put them in with the cornstarch. Cook them on one side, turn them over when they're ready on the other side. Flip them over a few times once they have a good color, like this. Then it's time to put in some W sauce on top. They'll get that last touch of flavor. Then we'll put them in the plate and then season them up while they're hot with fajita seasoning. So that's the replay. Let me put some W sauce on this. It just needs a few drops, doesn't need that much. And that's what's gonna give them that little brown color tint. It's been a good day of cooking and hanging with the family while watching some football, but we're all done here, time to plate this up. Now I have to give a shout out to my friend Ted for giving me the idea to recreate this dish that he enjoys so much from the Bodega Ocho restaurant in Baja California. Of course I added my own touch to the recipe, but here's a quick comparison of theirs versus mine. Mine is served on a molcajete with romaine lettuce for presentation, red onions, cilantro, avocado, and some slices of lime. Let's now put everything together on a warm, sweet yellow corn tortilla to give the final product a taste. I know that people may shy away from eating tripas, but I grew up eating these, and I'm sure that if you follow this recipe, you'll learn to love them too. Now there's some more tasty Crunchville for you. Let me know in the comments if you guys give this a try. As always, it's been fun hanging with you all, testing out the prototype of the MXK. Thanks to all that have sent stickers. Reach out to my email if you would like to have yours featured on here. As for the MXK, we'll have some open fire whole chicken cooks that we'll be testing it out on. Once we get the lid finished, we will also smoke some meat. If the demand is there, we may put this out in production. For now, we'll continue testing. I appreciate all the support. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget about our barbecue chats just about every Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Till next time, see you again very soon.